Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I am bringing you a coffee talk. I don't know what that song was I was singing just now, but maybe it should be a song. Haven't done one of these in a while. It's where I just sort of talk extemporaneously about all things recent Disney news and rumors, my thoughts, my opinions. Sometimes I wax poetic, sometimes I'm philosophical, and if you've been around the channel for a while, you know these can either be really fun or can go completely off the rails, and sometimes both. But at any rate, I'm really glad that you're here, and let's get into it. So first of all, I need to let you know that this video was requested by my patrons. If you are not one of my patrons, you should join us over there. They are my board of directors, and I sent them an email poll saying, listen, I don't know what I want to film about. I need to get a video up this week. I've got 3 ideas. Please tell me which one you want me to do. And one of them was coffee talk. And all of them were like, please, please, please do another coffee talk by like a wide margin. So patrons, this is for you. And I have in front of me, this is all I got from my notes, okay? So it literally says, here are our topics. Are you ready? Figment popcorn buckets, Encanto, prices going up, DVC, Kermit and Rainbow Connection, and upcoming trips. So will I get to all of these things? I have absolutely no idea, but we're gonna try to talk about them anyway. So let's start with the dragon in the room, shall we? Because I am like reeling from this thing that literally just happened yesterday, and that is the whole Figment popcorn bucket debacle. Now, if you are watching this at some point in the future, the Figment popcorn buckets might already be at Character Warehouse, and you're like, was this even a thing that happened? But yes, friends, it was a thing that happened, and I want us to stick a pin in it, if you will, so that we have this for all of time and perpetuity, that one day at Epcot, there were people who waited in a 6-hour line for this popcorn bucket. Now, the thing is, the people waiting in line, I feel like fell into 2 categories. They were either content creators or they were eBay sellers. Now, if you're a content creator and you literally had nothing better to do than wait in that line, I mean, you know, do what you want with your time. If, however, you are an eBay reseller and you're one of those people that listed them for $200, it's tacky. It's tacky. I'm sorry. It's just tacky. But I will say the funniest thing on Twitter I saw, I think it was Disney Food Blog that retweeted it. Somebody actually had done like a horrible sketch of the Figment popcorn bucket in pencil, and they were trying to auction that off. So I'm not sure if it was like a representation, if they were just literally trying to sell the, you know, the pencil drawing of the Figment popcorn bucket. But I gotta tell y'all, I don't get the standing in line for merch ever. I also kind of don't get the popcorn buckets. Now, don't come after me about that. If collecting popcorn buckets is your thing, and I love popcorn, but I was like, does it have like a really high-end bottle of tequila in there? Is there a diamond in there? Is there a $200 Disney gift card in there? Nope. It's just popcorn. And then the best part is most of the people were asking for the popcorn to be separate because they're not even going to use it as a popcorn bucket. Now, having said all that, I did see it last night over FaceTime. A friend who did not wait in that ridiculous line, by the way, she was there at opening and only waited like 20 minutes, had it in her arms. Is he cute? Yes. But come on, 6 hours? That's all I'm going to say about that. It's a thing that happened. Figment Gate. January, what is today? I don't even know. Yesterday. Whatever yesterday was, the 15th maybe? Maybe the 15th, whatever. It happened, it was a thing. Can we please move on? And I just cannot. Okay, so next up, let's talk about my new favorite Disney film. And that would be Encanto. If for some reason you have been stuck under something heavy, you don't have access to Disney Plus, you haven't wanted to find a way to see this film, make this happen in your life as soon as is reasonably possible. This film is so good on so many levels. And yes, the music is great. And yes, the animation is great. And yes, the characters are great. And yes, our heroine being a, normal size girl with normal aspirations who does not find a prince charming. The whole arc of the story, all of it. But the thing that had me crying buckets was the dysfunctional family and the children in a dysfunctional family and how that plays out in future generations. Can we talk about Louisa? Can we talk about the whole, I don't feel like I'm worth anything unless I'm working, which is something that my therapist could probably write an entire book about, just about me. Can we talk about who's the sister? Oh, all of a sudden I can't remember her name, which is ridiculous because she's one of my favorite characters. But the golden child, if you've been in any kind of therapy for dysfunctional family people, the golden child is actually a very specific psychological term, and it's the child in a family that has this sense of never being able to do anything wrong because that's their job, is to make everybody else happy, and it's a whole thing. But this one line from her song, I'm so sick of pretty, I want something true. Like I get goosebumps and tears. I'm so sick of pretty, I want something true. Okay, so if you haven't watched it, you must go watch it. And you really have to look at what it means when you have a, granted, traumatized woman herself in charge of this family with some narcissistic tendencies, how that plays out in a family dynamic. If you've been to any kind of therapy at all, if you've studied psychology at all, you will fully understand the depth of this film. And if you don't get it, that probably means that you're not super familiar with family dysfunction, and I love that for you. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about prices at Walt Disney World. Now, I feel like this is hot cocoa, by the way, and it doesn't even have anything in it because it's kind of early in the morning for that. But it's very hot, which is why I have it. Hold on. Yeah, it's still really hot, so we'll just hold it. Where is it cold where you are? I feel like it's cold everywhere, and we have ice and snow coming to Atlanta tomorrow. Which usually means we all freak out, but I kind of secretly love it, especially since I'm no longer in retail and I don't have to worry about opening the store or employees not being able to get out of their driveways, and I can just sit at home and watch it. And for us, it is always a novelty. People always ask me if it snows in Atlanta. It for sure does. In fact, most years we've been here, it snowed at least once, but it's not like a way of life. Like it snows very sporadically, usually one day, and then we all move on unless we get iced in for days, which also happens. You just never know. All right, Disney prices. Okay. This is going to be a little bit of a story time, okay? We're going to have to go back. Scott and I had a long conversation about this. We were talking about Disney prices and about how does any family right now afford to take their family to Disney World, because just park tickets for 5 days, not park hoppers, is going to run you about $2,000. $2,000. That's just to get into the park. That's not your hotel. That's not your food. That's not your souvenirs. That's not your airfare or your gas for your car or your rental car or your transportation to and from the airport. That is just park tickets. So I started doing some research. The average American family makes $68,000 a year. So when you consider the percentage of income that even that $2,000 is, it is not realistic for the average American family to ever be able to go to Walt Disney World. Now, this was, by the way, also true when my kids were little. And I know someone's going to say, yeah, but prices have gone way up. No, they for sure have. But what I can tell you even more than prices going up is the lack of these kind of creative discounts we used to have. It's how a lot of us first started being involved with any kind of online Disney community in the first place. Was we would scour these groups, but before they were like forums, before we were all in, Facebook groups and things like that. And we would find ways to economize. For instance, there was a campaign they did once where if you volunteered as a family, you could each get a one-day ticket. And then they actually allowed us to upgrade those one-day tickets. So we did that one year. As DVC members, one of the tricks we used to do is we would buy the heavily discounted DVC annual pass. which by the way used to be available to everyone, whether you purchased your vacation club contract direct from Disney or on the resale market, which we purchased ours on the resale market. And we would do 2 trips in one 12-month period. So we would do like a November trip and then or like a January trip, get our annual passes for the January trip, and then use them again for a November trip. And by piggybacking it that way, we were able to get 2 trips with 1 annual pass, and we could make the math work for our family. We had to come up with a lot of creative ways because we did not have a salary that made just going off on a Disney trip something that we could do. We had to, like, you know, connive and do this and do that and rob Peter and pay Paul and come up with all of these financial gymnastics in order to make, I would say, either every year or a lot of years it was more like every other year, Florida vacations possible for our family. And then the years when money was tight, we would go like to Vero Beach, or we would do some other type of vacation that was a lot cheaper. So Disney being, what is the point of all this? Disney being out of the reach of the average American family is not new. What is new is the lack of any kind of an avenue for the average American family to kind of figure out a way to make it happen. I just don't see how, without going heavily into debt or making such major sacrifices in other areas, the average family, this is even a possibility. And that makes me very sad. I'm sad for kids that won't have the same experience that my kids did, although there are plenty of other wonderful places to vacation. And I'm sad that there is no longer like an off season where Disney could somehow leverage things to, even though it would require a lot of gymnastics and a lot of hard work, to make a way for families to be able to afford to go. I'm just seeing those things getting stripped away day by day, and it is a bummer. And my hope is that someone there will recapture the soul of the company that says, sure, we can be about the very high-end guests staying at the Contemporary, but we also need to figure out a path for families with a normal income to make this a reality. So yeah, I'm concerned. I love going to Disney, and you know, even now, y'all, I love luxury Disney, but luxury Disney is not something that is in the budget if it weren't my job. Like my equivalency now of how I would clean my house every Saturday on one of my 2 days off a week so that we could go is that I made it my job, right? So that I can go and do luxury Disney travel, but I'm working while I'm there. I'm not just vacationing. That's a trade-off that's worth it to me because I love going to Disney, and I certainly love bringing you guys great Disney content. But it's also why I am so focused on making sure that I'm bringing you content that helps you make the most of that unbelievably high price tag, that I'm telling you which, for example, my Grand Floridian review, which hotels I do not think are worth the money. Give me a stay in the tower at Coronado Springs any day over the Grand Floridian, and boom, I just saved you thousands of dollars. You know, to really help you understand which dining places are worth your money, because I understand how dear this is and how hard you work for that money. And I want to make sure that that's why I'm bringing you content. And it allows me to go and be in a place that I love, and specifically to do luxury Disney travel. But I'm certainly keenly aware of the fact that with every passing price increase, it is becoming more out of reach for most American families. And that bums me out. Do I have a solution? Well, sure. Like I said, I think there should be a path. I will tell you that I think there is far less advantage anymore of staying on property. So I do think there are some alternatives. Vacation homes are starting to look a lot more appealing to me as far as like renting a vacation home off property, staying at Bonnet Creek, staying at some of the other places, especially if you can get a villa, you can cook in your room. So it's not that you can't do it, it's just becoming so incredibly difficult. So yeah, I don't really know that I'm offering a solution, and I usually don't like to complain about things unless I have a solution. I just want you to know that as someone who in particular talks about luxury Disney, it is not lost on me that these prices are going up so much, and I'm not okay with it either. So there you go. That's all I have to say about that. And I know someone is going to say in the comments, and you didn't even talk about the fact that they have gotten rid of things that used to be free and now they charge for it. I know, and I'm not okay with it either. So there's where we are. All right, now let's switch gears and let's talk about something a little more fun. I think I'm gonna put a pin in the DVC topic, and I'm gonna do a whole separate video about that. A lot of you guys have asked me, multiple times, and I haven't ever really done a video where I've addressed it. If we were starting over today, would we buy Disney Vacation Club? Yes or no? And I am going to do a whole video on that. So I think we'll save that for another time. But if you want to see that video, make sure you kind of comment below like what you want me to talk about around that. I definitely have thoughts. I actually have a whole video already mapped out, but if you have more around that you want me to say, make sure and let me know in the comments. And then I want to talk about something happy, because the price thing is like, especially in terms of like what cast members get paid and CEO salaries and all of that. Let's not talk about it. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about Kermit and Rainbow Connection. Now, my amazing friend Brooke, who is BB Brooke, you guys know, she is one of my closest friends. She texted me last night, and I was watching Crazy Rich Asians, which is one of my favorite movies. And it's in particular one of my like comfort go-to movies. It used to be my Delta movie, but they took it off the in-flight entertainment, which is rude. But she's like, are you available in 10 to 15 minutes? I'm like, sure, what's going on? So she FaceTimes me and she shows me the whole Rainbow Connection by the Muppets with the lights on Spaceship Earth. Now I'm going to insert a not that flattering picture of me that she actually took during the FaceTime, which is my reaction. When I tell y'all I was ugly crying, I was ugly crying. It was so beautiful. And as I said on Twitter, just when I think, based on everything I just ranted about, I'm about ready to tell Disney, they can just stick that in their pipe and smoke it. Something like the Rainbow Connection on the Spaceship Earth ball happens and they pull me back in. Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in, or whatever that line is. I might have butchered it. Apologies to the Godfather franchise. But it was so perfect. And they're doing it for the Festival of the Arts. And I always worry about the Muppets. I always worry that all the other flashy things, the Marvel franchise and the Star Wars franchise, that they're going to take away from this beautiful, soul-filled thing that is the Muppets. And that, I can't even tell you. I think my heart grew 2 sizes that day. It was that kind of thing, if I can mix in some Universal and Grinch metaphors with everything else I'm talking about. But it was beautiful, and I loved every minute. And Brooke, thank you for FaceTiming me. Whoever at Disney decided that was a good idea, it was the best idea ever. And I'm sure that there was someone that said that's too expensive and we shouldn't do that. And there was someone else that says, how long are we going to go without adding some of these magical things back? This is why people come. And let me just tell you, Disney, if you're watching this video, which by the way, I know they're not, people come because of that. That is why we keep giving you our dollars. And if you take away that, it's not going to happen anymore. So yeah, Rainbow Connection. And then Piggy start. If you don't want to, like, if you're going during the Festival of the Arts and you don't want it spoiled, don't watch it. Otherwise, go find it online, because it will just, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to talk about is upcoming trips. So, upcoming trips. I have one scheduled that I have 2 scheduled. I have 2 Disney trips scheduled between now and the 1st of March. 1 to Florida and 1 to California. I actually don't even want to talk about either one of them yet, because as we know, my last big Disney trip got canceled. I am very leery of whatever the next variant is going to be. As we know, my husband, or you may not know if you're new, my husband is an airline pilot, so he gets exposed all the time. If the next variant is something that maybe gets through the vaccines, which, God forbid that should happen. I'm very confident in science. We're all triple vaxxed around here. I feel very good about all of that, but it's just a very uncertain thing right now. So I do have a couple of trips coming up. One in particular, well, both I'm very excited about, and both I'm staying in hotels I've never stayed in before. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, now would be a really, really good time, because I'm going to have a lot of super good content coming up, hopefully. I feel like we're all there right now, right? Well, here's what I plan to do. Maybe this is the thing that's going to happen, which is why I'm not talking about it. So yeah, patrons, I probably will send out something to you guys about a meetup. I just want to kind of make sure it's actually going to happen. And by the way, if you are one of my patrons, you can meet up with me in the parks. I try to do meetups every time I am down there. Spam risk, I don't want that. I try to do meetups every time I'm down at Walt Disney World. I was really excited about the one that was supposed to happen the beginning of January, but that didn't happen. And you can join us on Patreon. It's super easy. I do not get paid by Disney. I do not get paid by Disney Vacation Club. This channel exists because of two reasons. Google AdSense, which does not pay me enough to continue to make these videos, and my patrons. That is how I'm able to continue to bring you guys content. So if that's something you would like to support, I would love it if you would join us over there. There will be probably a card up here, and also I will put the link down in the description box as well, so it's really easy for you to find. But yeah, if you join now, you may be able to do part of our meetups, especially if you have a trip planned to the parks anytime soon. So I would love for you to join us over there. So yeah, that's really it. Like, there are always so many rumors and stories and all of, you know, by the way, if you're a Money Pit fan, does anyone love the movie The Money Pit? Do we feel like the Shirk brothers are building the Tron ride? Does it kind of feel that way? It's 2 weeks. If you don't know the film with Tom Hanks, go watch it. But it does kind of feel like that is the vibe I am getting about who is building the Tron ride. And it's I'm not going to lie, it's a little concerning. I just cannot, for the life of me, understand why that is taking so long. I really don't get it. So all that to say, there are always so many rumors and news stories I could cover. And to be frank, I don't really focus on that many of them. Funny things that happen, like the ridiculous Figment line, sure. But I just enjoy Disney. I love bringing you guys Disney content. It has been rough to be a Disney fan in the last couple years, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna continue to do the best I can to bring you hotel reviews, food reviews, exciting things like rope dropping La Cava, and yeah, just all the best. Now I want a blood orange margarita, but anyway, all of the best things. And yeah, so subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up if you like it. Hopefully when I go to edit this, I won't go, why are you rambling, you crazy broad? But I do the best I can. And you guys seem to like it, so let's just call it a win-win. Whatever you're doing, please be really good to each other, and I will see you next time. Bye.